Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Thursday, the 12th of April, comes to you from London. Dollar still sinking lower, a bit flat this morning, but we are just still bearish below the clouds. So dollar index lower. We had the Fed minutes out yesterday. That didn't really move the currency at all. So we're seeing here also that the euro is fairly flat against the dollar, as we might expect. Against the yen, this is where we tend to see the action of the dollar. It's turned bearish as well, so it's just confirming dollar weakness at the moment. And sterling looking stronger, but just flat the last few days, just nudging this 142 level, which is the high that we've seen since Brexit, really. Um, and Forex, in terms of GBP, Euro, we're seeing here that it's fairly flat as well. And against the Swiss franc, we're seeing sterling just a little bit stronger and making quite good long-term transition. So sterling just looking stronger all the time. Against the Aussie dollar, sterling just weakening a little bit, just sitting at this 183 level. And if we look at Bitcoin, we're seeing here just another lurch down this morning. So we are just seeing pressure to the downside all the time there on Bitcoin. So interestingly, we're bearish there. Um, the S&P 500 index yesterday was down again. We're just seeing US stocks just struggling to find direction. We're really just stuck at these sort of levels we're seeing here now for a couple of weeks. We've just been seesawing between this is 2,500, 2,675. This 100-point range is where we tend to be stuck. We're still looking fairly bearish there as well. Looking at the Nasdaq, we're seeing as well that the Nasdaq is just has come above the cloud, but really again stuck in this range. So and we are still bearish on the medium-term chart. So the US markets, the fact they haven't managed to recover is a little bit of a concern, and we do have these downside targets both on the Nasdaq and the Dow that are activated on the Nasdaq 100 at least. Looking at the Russell 2000, we see here that the broader indices still looking a little bit better in the short-term recovery there. The S&P future is up very, very slightly, so no real heads up as to which way the market will open, and the same is true of the Nasdaq E-mini. We are just slightly bullish, but no real heads up, so it's hard to call which way the market will open today. FTSE 100 is still just holding that 7,200 level, bullish in the short term, but medium term bearish. So that's it's just hanging there. But we do have upside targets there, and on the mid 250, much the same thing. And again, upside targets in the short term chart. So looking reasonable at the moment. The DAX also looking stronger. We've got an upside target of 8.6%, but we do have resistance here on that point and figure chart. So it's interesting just to see that as well. Sterling is, sorry, the Japanese market. So this is the CAC current. The CAC is actually looking stronger there as well. Japanese market was down about 0.5% overnight, so holding its short-term bullish trend, but bearish still in the medium term. And the Hang Seng was down over 0.5%. So we are just seeing here it's struggling to stay in that bullish territory. And the Chinese market was down just under 1%, so still again struggling. The Indian market was up, and we are just seeing here a 0.25% up, and we're seeing that's holding its bullishness as well. And the Australian market just still in the doldrums in terms of stocks. Brent crude, that's been the big improvement. We're seeing Brent now just nudging new highs, in fact making new highs now, what, 3-year highs? So the talk on Syria missiles has helped crude just push higher, and we are seeing now crude has broken out. We've got targets to 76.87. We're at 72.19, so we've really risen very sharply the last couple of days, and we've nudged $73. So we are seeing upside potential there for Brent. Same is true of WTI. We're seeing upside targets there too. So looks like WTI will go considerably higher. We've got targets into the 70s here. We're 67 at the moment, but we've got 73.28. But it's a lone target. There's more upside targets on Brent. US nat gas sitting at $2.66 still. It's been sitting at this sort of level for quite some time. Storage numbers out today. It'll be interesting to see if that moves the price. Looking at heating oil, very similar to the crude chart as you'd expect. And we look at coffee. Coffee is up slightly, but it's still fairly mixed, and medium and long term is pretty bearish, and a lot of downside targets on the short term chart. Cocoa also is bearish in the short term. Medium term a bit looks quite bullish, and the long term is trying to make a transition. So the soft commodities generally just looking pretty mixed picture overall. And we look at sugar. Sugar is bearish still on all three time frames. Big moves yesterday in the gold price. We were nudging the 160s for one time there. We were at 165 we touched yesterday. You can see this on the short-term chart. We've come back into the low 150s, 151 this morning. But interestingly, gold is just nudging this roof all the time. A lot of long-term upside targets. The short-term chart now bullish. So gold is bullish on all three time frames, and silver also rose quite strongly yesterday, and we are bullish on the short term. The medium and long term chart's not quite as bullish as gold yet. The US Treasury yields just came off a little bit on that Fed minutes yesterday, and if we take a look at some of the tech majors, no big action here. We're seeing that Apple was down 0.5%. Amazon was down 0.2%. We're really seeing still the tech stocks just struggling on the short-term charts to get back into bullish territory. Looking at Alphabet, much the same, still bearish. Facebook, of course, has been in the news a lot with this congressional testimony, and it has actually improved slightly on that. Facebook really was oversold, and we are just seeing a little bit of recovery there. And if we look at Microsoft, Microsoft was down yesterday as well, and interestingly, we're still holding the trends, so still bullish on all three time frames. So we're one of the better looking tech stocks. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.